We are in Liguria, in San Remo. This is Porto Sol. At the boat show, we have no limits. We like the tender, and we like the mega yacht. The fact is, when we find an attractive boat, we would like to try it. That is just what happened with the FAIRLINE Targa 53 GT. The Targa 53 GT is striking due to its size and shape. FAIRLINE has created a model that is beautiful and comfortable everywhere. Each area has its own function, and no one prevails over the other. The foredeck is long enough to give sportiness to the line and to welcome the sun. The magnitude of the deckhouse is perfectly compared to the spaciousness of the cockpit, because it is important to balance internal and external spaces. Do you like it? What about it are you drawn to? Maybe the windows. Those above the main deck bear the signature of the yard with a fiberglass stretch that draws the F for FAIRLINE. The window sides are inclined to give the dynamism to the line. But the beauty would be worth nothing if at its base there was not a strong building process. It is made by vacuum vinyl ester resin infusion, joining together 4 different forms, giving the yacht a lot of strength with little weight. We return to examine the habitability. With a cockpit of this size is like having 2 boats, a hardtop and an open. There are sofas, a dining table, and a kitchenette with sink, grill, ice maker, and the fridge. And for those who love sunbathing, like this, you get more space. The bathing platform is submersible. It is not a novelty, but always a comfort. And now, as there is a storm coming, let's go inside. But doesn't it seem like we are still outside? This sunroof is fitted with a pneumatic seal that prevents water from entering. Where do you want the kitchen? Above, to admire the view while cooking, or below, because you are a chef and love to prepare your meals with the utmost care, with all the space and accessories you need? They completed the kitchen with 2 very useful galleys. Here, under the deck, well furnished. So why not have one made under here as well? What is it for? Perhaps to stow the sails. The salon gives you the luxury of choosing how to relax. You want to have tea or lunch on board? If it's aperitif time, here is the bar area. Before going to the helm, we go down in the cabins. Until a few years ago, the British were only building boats for the English. They did not bend to the needs of other markets. This Targa 53 GT, however, is built to international taste. Quality wood, painted matte, glossy lacquer, but also, if you want, the leather around the bed and some marble detail. The owner's cabin is as wide as the hull with a large bed. Under one sunlight there is a sofa, under the other a chest of drawers with leather upholstery. The bathroom furniture is also very nice. The bathroom is within the suite. The forward cabin is high, has a bed that seems suspended, and is illuminated by 2 side windows and 3 portholes. And then there is the third cabin. 2 more people. And finally, the aft lodging for the sailor. But if you opt for the kitchen on the main deck, here you can have another cabin, sleeping 8 in total. I told you that FAIRLINE is a historic English building site, but the 4 varieties of preparation involving the different finishes are called Saint-Tropez, Hampton, Amalfi and Capri. 2 out of the 4 locations are Italian. We won!
Negli ultimi anni il mondo nautico è cambiato.
In recent years, the nautical world has changed. There was a time when only a lucky few could afford to buy luxury yachts, and shipyards have had to adjust their strategies. FAIRLINE is back in business with very interesting models for style, interior space, and the ability to customize.
Non più barche prodotte in grande serie, ma
No more mass-produced boats, only made to order and tailored to the owner, who can choose the internal layout. In short, a real change in direction for FAIRLINE.
coloro che hanno una capacità di spesa di questo livello, l'imbarcazione
Those who have a spending capacity of this level, the boat costs £650,000, do not live in identical terraced houses, but rather in villas designed by their architect, exclusively for them. That's why FAIRLINE has chosen to offer some flexibility in their boats as well.
il FAIRLINE Targa 50
FAIRLINE Targa 53 GT can be powered with three different solutions. Volvo Penta D11 engines, rated at 675 or 725 horsepower, or the Caterpillar C12.9, 850 maximum horsepower. On the model we test today, there are two D11 of 725 horses, perhaps the most appropriate power output for this type of boat. The sea is not calm today. There is a long wave at least 1 meter high.
Siamo usciti da Porto
We came out of Port Sol and began to accelerate.
un'occhiata alla scia per vedere.
Look at the wake to see we're planing. The speed at this time is 15 knots. I have not used the flaps to increase the trim. The bow is raised out of the water immediately.
Il mare è formato.
The sea is formed, the spray is visible, but doesn't come on deck. It shoots away from the sides.
Gli impatti a questa velocità.
The impacts at this speed are soft. It is a leisurely cruising pace.
Procediamo ancora contro vento e contro mare.
We proceed against the wind and against the sea. Let's go with the bow perpendicular to the waves. We're at 20 knots. It seems that at this speed the trim is even better, and the pitch, in fact, has declined. This indeed is also a trait of these kinds of boats, with shaft lines.
Mi trovo così bene.
I am so comfortable at the rudder of the Targa 53 GT that, well, I want to speed up a bit. Also because the cruising speed may well be around 2100 revolutions per minute. Right now we are just at 1900 RPM and we are already going 23 knots. We are dancing on the waves at a speed of 28 knots. This is the maximum cruising speed. The engines are at 2150 revolutions per minute. Encounters the wave, it lifts slightly and then drops into the trough, but always gently. The silence is excellent. It is a hardtop with a large sunroof. It could have 1,000 vibrations. Instead, there is no squeaking at all.
Qui, a largo di Sanremo,
Here off the coast of San Remo, the sea seems even higher. The waves are still long, but now they are over 1 meter high. It's time to make the most of the engines.
la direzione delle onde è regolare.
The direction of the waves is regular, but the forms, not at all. And it would seem that we should suffer some impact, but nothing. 2500 revs per minute, speed 32 knots.
Quando c'è mare morto,
When there are rough seas, one of the critical phases is the turn under the wave, because the hull slams because the waves break along the boat's sides instead of the sharp bow. But it does not happen. It's gentle even in the turn. It is a really relaxing boat. I never changed the trim of the boat, and now I'm back in port. With the sea at our back, the angle of incidence continues to be ideal.
è proprio questo l'aspetto migliore di questa imbarcazione.
The best aspect of this boat is that the angle of the incidence always remains the same. We do not have to use the flap, it has very little pitching, and then the captain, the owner or the pilot, does not have to do anything. Just check where it is going and choose the speed. Under such conditions, we did not go over 32 knots, but probably in a better situation, the boat is also faster. There are boats that are attractive, others that are attractive and functional, and still others that are attractive, functional, and sail well, like this FAIRLINE Targa 53 GT.